Festive Mystery Crochet-Along Part 9, which is also the last part involved in making. So now we will be working using only dark brown yarn to make the antlers. Since we've finished the main body, we'll start off with a magic ring and then proceed to do single crochet 6 stitches in the first round. Remember to tighten the loop so that the hole closes up, which can be a bit challenging for chenille yarn. For round 2, single crochet all around the round for a total of 6 stitches. Remember to put the stitch marker at the start of the round. It can be a little bit challenging to work with this because the yarn is a little bit darker and the stitches are a bit harder to see. For round 3, start off with an increase for the first 2 stitches and then a decrease for the next 2 stitches. So we're actually trying to make a bend in this tube, as you can see later on. So the stitch marker is placed at the start of round 3, and then we will do an increase first and then another increase, and then we'll do the next 2 decreases. For round 4, likewise, do increase in the first 2 stitches, like so, and then in the second stitch there's an increase, and then a decrease in the next 2 stitches, so that you still maintain 6 stitches in the round. For rounds 5 and 6, repeat the same as round 4, which is increase 2 sets first and then decrease 2 sets. And then you see that we have done until round here, so there's an extension of the cylinder. And then we will be moving on to the next round. Round 7 just involves a simple single crochet all around the round for a total of 6 sets. For round 8, similar to round 7, single crochet all around the round. Here I've also done until round 8, and then we move on to round 9, which is decrease for the first 2 sets, and then after that increase for the next 2 sets, which is the reverse of what it was previously, because we want to make a bend in the reverse direction. So I've done the first decrease, put a stitch marker at the start of the round, and then we will move on to the second decrease. For rounds 10 to 11, repeat the same as round 9, which is the first 2 decreases and then 2 increases. So you can see that we are done until round 11 over here. You should be able to see 2 bends in the tube here, and they should be facing opposite directions actually, because this is what I want for the main part of the antler. And then leave a trailing yarn and then cut off the excess. Thread the trailing yarn through a darning needle. Close up in front loops only and then end off. Cut off excess yarn. You can see there are 2 bends in the tube here in opposite directions, which is what I want, and then we'll be working on 2 other separate pieces after this. The next 2 separate pieces will involve the branches of the antlers. So here you can see we are moving on to the branches, and we are starting with a new set of the same dark brown yarn. I'll make 2 sets, one is shorter and one is taller. Start off with the magic ring first. Then for round 1, magic ring and then single crochet 4 stitches. Then we are moving on to the second round. Place a stitch marker at the start of the second round. For round 2, single crochet all around a round for a total of 4 sets to get 4 stitches in the round. So here for the smaller branch, we have completed until round 2 only, which is fairly simple. It's a narrow cylinder. And then we will we'll leave a bit of trailing yarn and then cut off any excess. We'll be using this to attach the main antler later on. You can see that the short branch is done over here. Subsequently, we make a taller branch involving the same round for a total of 5 rounds. So the short ones on the left, which has 2 rounds, and the long ones on the right, which has 5 rounds. And this is the first piece with the 2 bends that we had initially. So we're going to put all these pieces together and sew them together. Position the short one in the middle and the long one on the right. Sew down the small one in the middle of the bent tube. Make sure the attachment is secure. Tie off excess yarn and then weave in the ends. Then subsequently sew down the longer branch on the right side of the short branch, like what you see here. So this is the longer branch with a total of 5 rounds. Secure all the pieces together so that you have the 3 parts in one now, and you should get a W shape right at the end. Then tie off, cut off excess yarn and then conceal in the ends to get the final set of antlers. As you can see, one antler is completed over here. Repeat for the other set so that there are 2 sets altogether. They should be exactly the same, but they should be placed mirror images of each other. Position the antlers in between the 2 ears symmetrically for attachment. Attach the bottom part of the W to the inner part of one ear. So you can see the W right on top, and then attach the bottom cylindrical part to one side first. Use whip stitch to attach the antler onto the head. Remember to sew it down on all the sides of the cylinder to keep it as secure as possible. Cut and tie off any excess yarn, then conceal in the ends again. One antler has been sewn down over here. Then subsequently repeat for the other side as well. Now here both antlers are sewn down over here, as you can see. Note that there are no stuffing inside the antlers. Now we are moving on to the eyes. This time we'll be switching to sport weight yarn and a 3mm hook instead to make the eyes. Get ready both black and white yarn. This is from Sheep's Cantonner cotton yarn. Start with a magic ring using the black yarn, and then subsequently for round 1, do a magic ring with single crochet 3 stitches. Then get ready to switch to white yarn. Over here, switch to white yarn after completing the initial 3 single crochet stitches, and then from here we'll be moving on to round 2 and start off with the increase in the first 2 stitches and then complete round 2 and fasten off. Make a second set to get a pair of eyes. Position the eyes over the white patches on either side of the head. Thread the yarn through a darning needle to sew down the eyes. Insert into the white patch on one side. This time instead use mattress stitch to sew down the eyes so that it has a glued-on appearance. Then use a set of new white yarn to sew down a glint in the eyes, like so. Position the white yarn over the top black part of the eye. Sew the white yarn onto the black part of the eye patch 3 times. Tie off the excess yarn and then cut off. Repeat for the other eye and the glint as well. As you can see, both eyes are sewn down over here just below the antlers, and then we'll move on to the snout and the mouth. Then use black yarn to sew down both the snout and the mouth. Sew a vertical line in the middle bottom part of the snout like so over here. Then sew a smile on either side of the snout. Tie off and cut off excess yarn. Conceal in the ends. Here the facial features are done. Remember to go and check out the full final piece.